Hey, you probably thought I was dead at this point if you are subscribed to this channel, but welcome to what I believe is a seventh episode of the Who Asked You podcast. My friend about a week ago was telling me that he wanted me to do more of these episodes because he likes to watch them when he's bored. So, hello to him. That made me think to just do another one. The fact that it's been months on end since I last did one, and there would be a plethora of topics for me to hit up. I have kind of a new lighting setup. It should be a lot brighter, a lot nicer here. Same Yeti microphone, Blue Yeti. So we're going to hit it, and that sounded wrong, I guess. Yeah, that might have sounded sexual. But we're going to talk about a lot of shit today. And got some stories, we got some everything. And I guess a great thing to start off on would be the fact that in a couple of days, we will be inaugurating Donald Trump as a president. That is something that is very new since I last did an episode. Something I think took a lot of people by surprise, but I wasn't super shocked. Actually, on my Twitter, I predicted it in like May or June that if Hillary won the nomination, because it was still up in the air at that point whether or not she would, that Trump would win the election. So it didn't come as a huge surprise to me. I thought that it was definitely possible that he was one that actually ignited his base, and Hillary people didn't really give as much of a shit about. So I kind of thought it was possible, but seeing it happen on election night, it was definitely kind of a what the fuck moment. Like, how did we end up with Donald Trump as president? Or, he's still not president for a couple more days. We really want to savor, but just that was a huge turn of events that's happened since the last time I've recorded one of these. And Obama just gave his farewell address and everything. I think he was for a liberal, I'd say he was a president fall probably in the middle, although he fall on the better end of presidents overall, all time. So he's leaving office, and I guess looks bad now that Trump is going in. If it were to have been Bernie Sanders going into office, Obama leaving wouldn't be so bad in comparison. But yeah, that I guess that's my take on Obama. A lot of pros and cons with him. He did a lot of good stuff, but also some bad stuff. I consider myself a progressive, not really a I'm a Democrat. Progressive falls under Democrat, but like I'm not for the establishment type Democrats that are corrupt, man. Those are my views on politics, I guess. But Trump has been doing all kinds of ridiculous shit. He won't shut up on Twitter and whatnot. And I can't even imagine how that presidency is going to be for the next 40 years. And I think he has like a 50-50 shot of winning re-election, depending on who. One of the things it depends on is who the Democrats run, I guess. And if he even decides to run for re-election after he's done 4 years of the presidency and realizes he has no idea what he's doing, probably have been a tough 4 years for him, having to navigate that and just BSing his way through the whole thing. So I figure he might not even want to run for re-election, and I think maybe he might even know that he could lose, and I think that hurt his ego too much, so he might consider just not even going for it, which I guess would help, because I think he would have a decent chance of winning if he did run, because, like I said, he has a lot of supporters that are jacked up about him, as much as he did lose a popular vote, which it sounded like Republicans love to downplay that, like, oh, the Electoral College, oh, everything would just be about California if fucking we didn't have the Electoral College, which doesn't really make sense. Like, the popular vote is literally who got more votes, so I would think that's what would be the best thing to take into account you're overcomplicating it if you look at it any other way. And Hillary won that by almost 3 million, I think. So our system here in America is pretty fucked up. People from other countries are probably like what? Like the person who got almost 3 million more votes lost the election? Like, how exactly does that make sense? And I could not tell you what the point of that really is. But there's not much more to say about the election. So what else has been up the last couple months? I guess I'll cover just recently, I started a basketball channel, actually, where I'm talking about the NBA, and I'm covering whatever topics I want to talk about. Like I just covered if I think LeBron can become the greatest of all time or not. I actually still have my Heat gear here because I was wearing that stuff in the video to show that I wasn't a LeBron hater, because I was saying I don't think he can become the greatest of all time. So I guess I'll link the basketball channel called Basketball Brett. It sort of rhymes. I'll link that in the bio of this podcast. And yeah, if you have any interest in basketball, that'll be a fun channel for you to watch. I'm kind of getting back on YouTube. You know, I was doing music earlier in 2016. That was the last thing I did on YouTube. So I kind of want to just get back into it. I'm also here making another podcast. I don't know, this might be a mini podcast kind of, because I might have to run in a couple minutes, but I'll make like a sequel to this maybe tomorrow. I'm on a 3-day weekend right now, because it is Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Martin Luther King, thank you, homie. Not just for a 3-day weekend. I mean, you know, the civil rights stuff, that was cool too. So yeah, there is that. My phone is going off right now. Trying to think what else that I want to talk about. Oh, I have a good story actually that I'll tell before I go here. So I'll probably clock in at close to 10 minutes at least. So I got detention this week. I had to go to 2 days of after school detention. There was this little room like way off kind of in the corner of the school. I'm a junior in high school, and I've been going to my school for like 2.5 years, close to. And I didn't even know this room existed ever, because I've been a good kid always, not any kind of a kid that would get detention. But I somehow did, because my Spanish teacher, not to put her on blast too much, you know, because I realize YouTube is a place where people can actually see shit that you post, and this could get around, who knows. So I'm not looking to criticize her too much or anything. But I came in like 30 seconds to 45 seconds late to my Spanish class 2 or 3 times. I never got a warning or anything, but apparently she was keeping track of this and writing me up, and she sent out a referral to the office. They called me down middle of my health class, and I had to go sit there and wait. I'm sitting there really nervous because I don't know what it could be about. I don't know what they found or what I'm in trouble for. You know, your mind automatically goes to the worst when something like that happens. So I'm definitely anxious, just sitting there waiting for the one of the principals to call me in. So yeah, the lady, the female principal, she sits me down, and she's saying that I got 3 tardies. I wasn't aware of this up to that point. And she says it usually would be a 4-hour detention on Saturday. That would have really sucked ass. But she was just going to do, since my record was clean otherwise, she was just going to do 2 1-hour after-school detentions. And pretty much what this detention consists of, you can't look at your phone, I don't think, or anything. But they never specified that. I'm pretty sure they would have yelled at me. It's just this one security guy. He just sat there and read his book. He didn't care that much. I was actually the only one there somehow for my tardies. It's baffling that I would be the one kid in the school with after-school detention. Like, of all the kids in my school who are kind of fuckheads, of course I'm the one sitting there. I actually got quite a bit of homework done, so that worked out. I feel like most kids who would get an after-school detention wouldn't enjoy it. I actually used it to get homework done, so it wasn't bad for me. I also think that most kids who are going to get an after-school detention aren't going to go to it unless it's enforced. I'm the one, I guess, who did. The first day of that, there was another kid there. The second day, I was the only one somehow, which is just absurd. And the principal, back to that, she was telling me she was a classroom teacher back in her day, so she was really offended by my actions of not showing up specifically on time. So she was pretty tight about that. But yeah, that was just a fun story. I guess it was an experience after all, though. I can say I got a detention before I graduated, so not all bad. If you want to look at a bright side there, that's what I came up with. So yeah, there's that little story I'm sure there's a bunch more stories. I didn't write down notes or anything for this. I'll do that tonight maybe, so I can record a part 2 of this tomorrow. We're at 10 minutes now. Just wanted to make a short podcast because my friend reminded me that I even had this podcast. I practically forgot, honestly. Sorry to do that to you guys, but there's not really any subscribers anyway. Yeah, maybe part 2 will stream on YouNow. YouNow is a site that is pretty non-existent at this point, I think. Last time I went on, all I saw was these kids, 12 to 14, they're FaceTiming their fans. I guess that's what it's become. Back in 2014, I was kind of a big deal. I was a big thing on YouNow. I wasn't actually had like 150 fans, but yeah, I used to do prank calls on there, and it seems like the landscape of that site has changed quite a bit. So I guess it'd be fun to get on there for nostalgia, old time's sake, see how it's changed. So I'll probably stream part 2 of this podcast on there, and I'll have more stories from the past couple of months that I haven't been doing these, and maybe I'll get back into doing them every week or whatever, and alongside my basketball channel. So hope you had a good time listening to this short podcast, and hopefully I will see you for part 2 tomorrow on Sunday. Peace out.